What do you think this says about the future of law? I was in Utah, I don't know, a month ago at Hona's Disrupt conference, and I mean everything was the most of the talks were about AI, right? And I think that was understandable, but I don't think lawyers are ready, and I don't think that they know what's coming. I think that we have like a 3 to 5 year window where things are going to remain somewhat normal, and then we're going to see a substantial shift right there. And there's going to be like the haves and have nots. But I wonder what's your thoughts on that? If you agree with that, if you disagree with that, what are your thoughts on the future? Like, what does AI hold for the legal space?
My belief about AI in the legal space, I think, is probably reflective of my belief about the effect of AI more broadly, which is personally, I am not worried about the kind of doomsday theory that a lot of people have, is that we're going to have this society where we have people who run the AIs and make all the money, and then we have all these people that don't. And I'm skeptical of that interpretation because we've had lots of technologies that had the possibility of that sort of thing happening. Think about like just the emergence of the internet and all the different cloud companies or internet companies that exploded. You could make an argument, oh, well, all these internet companies are going to be making bank and all that. But one of the advantages and interesting byproducts of AI development is that, what's her name? Meeker.
Mary Meeker.
Mary Meeker.
I just did an episode on Tuesday about it, yeah.
She just launched her AI report. And one of the things that she talked about is the fact that the cost of intelligence, AI intelligence, has fallen by over 99% just in the last few years.
Way faster than the internet. I think it took 27 years for the internet cost to go down. It took, if you compare it to electricity, it took 72 years for the comparable drop in price. Whenever it comes to, and it took just a matter of like a few years for the cost to come down for AI.
There's a quote from Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, from several years back, where he explained that he said, I believe that the story of the next 10 years is going to be a rapid decline in the cost of two things, intelligence and energy. And his argument was that those are two of the primary inputs in the creation of everything. And that as a consequence, it's almost impossible to predict what's really going to happen economically. But one thing is for sure is that as long as there's competitive forces, and when you're democratizing intelligence the way that AI companies have, you can make an argument that there's going to be ubiquitous competition everywhere all the time. That if I can just spin up an agent to build an app or start a tool or start a service company or something in minutes, to be able to compete with some historically large organization, there's a competitive pressure on prices there. So if we're producing things with energy and intelligence, and everybody can do this, everybody can do some version of it or can agglomerate these forces somewhat effectively, that it should push everything down in price. He said, we'll never reach zero. This was Sam Altman's argument. It'll never reach zero, but the price of everything should fall into some kind of like Star Trek. We're looking way out at this point, probably. But I don't know. So I'm bullish on the democratized effect of ubiquitous intelligence. I think it's going to help everybody in pretty huge ways. But we'll see.
I agree with that if it's used. And so I want to make sure I'm very clear about the haves and the have-nots. What I mean is, if you don't use it, you're going to be in a really bad spot. And I'm worried about the people that are refusing to adopt it. Is what I'm worried about.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think just like outsourcing to China was a big hit to like the Rust Belt and like manufacturing and stuff. Like there's gonna be people through the AI wave over the next 5 to 10 years that are gonna get screwed. Like they're not gonna adapt quickly enough. Their firms are gonna have a difficulty keeping up. They'll their older aging client base will age with them, but beyond that, like new adoptees are gonna be going toward more innovative firms. It'll be interesting, even if the firm model continues, like to what extent do like whole categories of law end up being not entirely automated through AI systems, but like largely. Yeah. I mean, they're like, how many categories of law actually need, somebody to show up in court for you? Many.
Not many.
But,
not many compared to all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, compared to the whole world of like, especially corporate stuff like contract review and drafting and, deal negotiations and all that kind of stuff, like, mediation, arbitration. So much of this stuff is highly exposed, I think, to just complete automation through AI systems that there are definitely going to be people that are in a localized way are going to get smacked by it. I think law firm owners stand to be major beneficiaries of all this, especially in litigation.
Yep.
I think litigators are going to do a lot better than everybody else. I'm much more confident in that after the past several weeks of playing with Google Gemini.